Lemp Mansion said to be one of the 10 most haunted places in America. The Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri is not just a building but a tomb holding the tragedy of an entire dynasty. From a magnificent mansion of millionaires, it decayed into a rundown boarding house before being restored to the fine restaurant, theater, and inn it is today. But no matter how many coats of paint, no matter how many owners, the spirits of the Lemp family have seemingly never left. Today, join me as we step through the gates of the Lemp Mansion to listen to the whispers of a gilded beer empire and the deadly curse that consumed it all. Our story begins in 1838 when Johann Adam Lemp, a German immigrant, arrived in St. Louis. He started with a small grocery store, selling everyday items and his own homemade lager beer. Just 12 years later, by the 1850s, the Lemp Brewery had become one of the largest in the city. By the time Adam Lemp passed away in 1862, he was already a millionaire. His son, William J. Lemp Sr., inherited the business and took the Lemp empire to new heights. He purchased a 5-block area and built a new plant in 1864. By the 1870s, the Lemp family had become a symbol of wealth and power, dominating the St. Louis beer market until Prohibition. They were the first brewers to establish a coast-to-coast distribution network across the United States. Parallel to the growth of their business empire was the construction of a fitting home. In 1876, William Lemp Sr. purchased a mansion built in the 1860s, located not far from the brewery. He immediately began renovating and expanding the 33-room house into a lavish Victorian showplace. A tunnel was built from the mansion's basement running through the caves leading directly to the brewery. These caves were not only used for lagering beer but were also converted into an auditorium, a theater, a heated swimming pool, and even a bowling alley. It was a lavish underground world, a testament to the limitless wealth of the Lemp dynasty. At the height of their success, no one could have imagined that a horrific series of tragedies was about to engulf the Lemp family, the beginning of a seemingly endless curse. In 1901, the first tragedy struck when Frederick Lemp, William Sr., his favorite son and designated heir, passed away at the age of 28. Frederick had always been in poor health and died of heart failure. The death of his talented son dealt a heavy blow to William Sr. He began to withdraw, became despondent, and was rarely seen in public. The grief of losing his son, combined with the death of his closest friend Frederick Pabst of the famous Pabst Brewery in 1904, pushed William Sr. to the brink of despair. His physical and mental health deteriorated rapidly. On the morning of February 13, 1904, in the master bedroom of the mansion, William J. Lemp Sr. took his own life with a revolver. Tragedy had now stained the walls of the Lemp Mansion with blood. William Lemp Jr., often called Billy, took over the company in November 1904. Billy was a true playboy, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He and his beautiful wife Lillian began to spend the family's vast fortune. Lillian became known as the Lavender Lady for her love of the color, from her clothing to the harnesses on her carriage horses. Billy was initially proud of his trophy wife, but he quickly grew tired of her and began a decadent lifestyle. He hosted lavish parties in the caves beneath the mansion, with numerous prostitutes for the entertainment of his friends. It was during this time that one of the darkest legends of the Lemp Mansion was born. Billy allegedly fathered an illegitimate child with another woman. This child, unfortunately, was born with Down syndrome. Considered a source of shame for the family, the boy was confined to and hidden away in the attic of the mansion for his entire life. Although there is no official documentation to confirm the boy's existence, later interviews with former household staff affirmed that he was real. Today, this tragic soul is known as the Monkey Face Boy and is said to still haunt the mansion's attic. While the Lemp beer empire was slowly weakening due to competition and Billy's poor management, tragedy continued to strike. On March 20th, 1920, Elsa Lemp Wright, Billy's sister and one of the wealthiest heiresses in St. Louis, shot herself, just as her father had done years before. It was said she was despondent over her unhappy marriage. When asked about his sister's death, Billy coldly told reporters, "That's the Lemp family for you," a statement that revealed the despair and acceptance of the family's cruel fate. The arrival of Prohibition in 1919 was the final fatal blow to the Lemp Brewery. Billy shut down the plant without any warning. The brewery buildings, once valued at $7 million, were sold for just over $500,000. After the collapse of the empire, Billy fell into a depression, becoming just like his father, anxious, erratic, and socially withdrawn. On December 29, 1922, in his office within the Lemp Mansion, William Lemp Jr. shot himself through the heart. He chose to end his life in the very same building where his father had died 18 years earlier. After Billy's death, his younger brother, Charles Lemp, moved back into the mansion. Charles was an eccentric and reclusive man. He developed a morbid fear of germs, always wearing gloves and constantly washing his hands. Billy's illegitimate son, the monkey face boy, is said to have lived with Charles until he passed away in the mansion in his 30s. Not long after the boy's death, Charles became the fourth member of the Lemp family to take his own life. In May 1949, he shot his beloved Doberman Pinscher in the basement, then walked up to his second-floor bedroom and shot himself. He left a short note, "In case I am found dead, blame it on no one but me." To me, this is the most tragic and bizarre detail. 4 suicides in the same family, 3 of which occurred right inside the mansion. It's hard not to wonder. Was there a real curse clinging to the Lemp dynasty? Was there some hidden hereditary mental illness? Or did the house itself, with its sorrowful memories, poison the minds of those who lived within it? The only one who remained, Edwin Lemp, lived a reclusive life and died of old age in 1970 at the age of 90. It seems he survived only because he stayed far away from the Lemp Mansion and its tragedies. In his final wish, he ordered that all Lemp family documents, artifacts, and artworks be burned, erasing all traces of a magnificent and tragic empire. Perhaps it was a final attempt to end the curse. After Charles's death, the Lemp Mansion was sold and became a boarding house. The building began to deteriorate, and it was then that the ghost stories began to spread widely. Tenants complained of ghostly knocks and phantom footsteps. In 1975, the mansion was purchased by the Pointer family and renovated into the restaurant and inn it is today. During the renovation, workers frequently told stories of apparitions, strange sounds, tools that would suddenly vanish, and the constant feeling of being watched. Many quit their jobs in fear, never to return. Since the restaurant opened, staff and guests have reported countless strange experiences. Apparitions appear and then vanish. Voices and sounds emerge from nowhere, and glasses fly off the bar on their own. Lights turn on and off. Doors lock and unlock by themselves, and the piano in the bar often plays when no one is near. The 3 areas with the most reported paranormal activity are the main staircase, the attic, and the area in the basement that staff call the Gates of Hell, which was once the entrance to the caves. The attic is said to be haunted by the monkey face boy. People often report seeing a boy's face looking out of the small attic windows. Paranormal investigators frequently leave toys in his room, drawing a circle around them. When they return the next day, the toys are always found in a different location. The women's restroom on the first floor, which was once William Jr.'s private domain and held the first freestanding shower in St. Louis, is said to be haunted by him. Many women have reported a man peeking over the stall divider. This is believed to be the spirit of the playboy Billy Lemp Jr. In William Sr.'s room, guests often report hearing someone running up the stairs and kicking at the door. This is believed to be the residual energy of the moment Billy Jr. frantically tried to break down the door after his father's suicide. Today, The Lemp Mansion is a fascinating destination for thrill seekers and paranormal investigators across America. The story of the Lemp family is a reminder that behind the glamour of wealth and fame can lie abysses of pain and despair. What do you think about the Lemp family curse? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this story today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next explorations into the unknown. Today, I'm going to take you to Ohio to a magnificent Gothic structure, a castle whose gates seem to open to another world. A world of opulence, tragedy, and whispers that never cease. This is Franklin Castle, known as the most haunted house in Ohio. Imagine a grand 19th century castle, its Gothic turrets rising against the Cleveland skyline. A creaking door opens to reveal dimly lit rooms filled with antique furniture, strange whispers, and an unexplainable presence. This is Franklin Castle. But what really happened behind these walls, and why do so many people say they've seen ghosts? Let's step inside and find out, if you dare. The story of Franklin Castle begins like a classic American dream. In the 1880s, Hannes Tiedemann, a German immigrant, achieved resounding success in America. He made his fortune in grocery wholesaling and later co-founded the Union Banking and Savings Co. Flush with cash, Hannes decided to build a dream home on Cleveland's prestigious Franklin Boulevard. He wanted a house large enough for his family and also to shelter other German immigrants. He hired the renowned architectural firm Cudell and Richardson to design an impressive 4-story, 20-room mansion. With its stone facade, arched windows, and towering turrets, it looked like something out of a Gothic horror novel. Hannes proudly named his new home Franklin Castle, but sadly, not long after the family moved in, tragedy began to strike. In January 1881, Hannes's 15-year-old daughter Emma died from diabetes. Just a few weeks later, his mother Vibeke also passed away. Over the next 3 years, from 1886 to 1888, Hannes and his wife Louise had to bury 3 more children, all of whom died as infants under the luxurious roof of Franklin Castle. The string of tragedies continued when his wife Louise died in 1895 from liver disease. In just over a decade, Hannes Tiedemann had lost almost his entire family. These successive deaths sparked rumors. Could the Tiedemann family be cursed? After his wife's death, Hannes remarried and sold the castle in 1896. He himself died of a stroke in 1908, outliving all his children and grandchildren, with no one left to inherit his fortune. The Tiedemann era at Franklin Castle had ended, but the dark stories about them were just beginning. As the tragedy subsided, chilling legends began to rise. People started to see Hannes Tiedemann not as a grieving father, but as a cruel tyrant. Rumors spread that he had a brutal temper, and to give his wife Louise a place to hide, he had secret passageways and tunnels built within the house. The stories grew darker. It was said that Hannes had many mistresses and didn't shy away from violence or even murder. 2 of the most terrifying legends involve the deaths of 2 women. A woman in black is said to frequently appear in the tower room. It's believed to be the ghost of Rachel, a maid who refused Tiedemann's advances and was strangled to death by him. Visitors to this room often report a choking sensation. Another spirit is said to be that of Karen, Tiedemann's niece, who was hanged in a tunnel behind the ballroom. Tiedemann claimed she was insane and that he only wanted to put her out of her misery. But the rumor is that he caught her in bed with one of his grandsons. Was Hannes Tiedemann truly a cold-blooded tyrant? A real-life Bluebeard who built secret tunnels to hide his crimes? Or was he just an unfortunate man crushed by tragedy and besieged by malicious rumors after he died, with no one left to defend his reputation? This is a question for which we may never have a definitive answer. After the Tiedemann family left, Franklin Castle began a new life, full of turmoil and scandal. In the 1920s, during the Prohibition era, the house was sold to a German society. Its basement was allegedly used for producing illegal liquor. Decades later, a whiskey still was found in a secret room behind a sealed wall panel. There are even rumors that it was a nest for Nazi spies during World War II, and that a massacre of 20 people with machine guns took place due to political disagreements. But reports of paranormal phenomena only truly became public in the 1960s when the Romano family moved in. They had 6 children and hoped to turn the castle into a restaurant. Instead, they found themselves confronting ghosts. On the very day they moved in, the Romano children encountered a crying girl in white on the 3rd floor. But when Mrs. Romano went to check, no one was there. The family began to hear phantom organ music and heavy footsteps. The blankets of the older children were violently yanked off their beds at night. The most terrifying experience was when Mrs. Romano awoke to find herself screaming on her bedroom floor, with an unseen presence screaming beside her. Terrified, the Romano family invited a priest to perform an exorcism. The priest told them there were evil spirits in the house too powerful to be driven out and advised them to leave. In 1974, they sold the house and moved away. The next owner, Sam Muscatello, tried to profit from the house's haunted reputation by offering tours. It was during this time that a horrifying discovery was made. In January 1975, while tearing down a wall, Muscatello found an incomplete human skeleton hidden in a void within the walls. The tragedy didn't stop. In November 1999, the castle was broken into by an arsonist and set on fire, causing extensive damage. When caught, the arsonist gave a chilling statement. "I had to burn the castle because it is pure evil." So what is truly haunting Franklin Castle? Is it the spirits of the Tiedemann family, victims of a curse? Or are they other entities drawn here over decades of chaos? An interesting theory proposed by later owners and paranormal researchers is that the castle acts as an energy amplifier. It seems to have the ability to magnify the mental state of those who enter. People who are happy and positive feel energized and creative. Conversely, those who carry sadness, negativity, or ill intentions find those feelings worsening. This could explain why some people have terrifying experiences while others feel inspired. However, there is another perspective. William Kreitzy, a Cleveland author and investigative historian who wrote a book on Franklin Castle, believes the stories of Hannes Tiedemann's cruelty have been embellished over time. According to his research, the Tiedemanns were kind people, and Hannes was a benefactor to the community, not the monster of legend. He asserts that all the recorded deaths at Franklin Castle show no signs of foul play. Kreitzy writes, "All of this makes for a fantastic ghost story, and who doesn't love a good ghost story? There's just one problem. Hardly any of it is true. Even so, Kreitzy himself, who debunked the legends, admitted to having strange experiences while visiting the house, such as hearing footsteps, voices, and the radio turning on by itself. Today, Franklin Castle is a private residence and not open to the public, but it remains a popular stop on Cleveland's ghost tours. Paranormal enthusiasts still insist they can see the figure of Louise Tiedemann standing in the window. Franklin Castle will forever keep its secrets. Its towering turrets, intricate details, and striking windows might be hiding horrific crimes. Or they might simply be a symbol of how an immigrant's American dream turned into a devastating nightmare. Thank you for joining me on this complex and haunting journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next trips into the hidden corners of history.